This is the story. When I was in my early 20s, a friend of mine moved to a new house. So I brought her a gift to celebrate. My friend had rented a used house, and my honest impression at first glance was like this: it's quite old house. She said, well, the kids are small now, but I'm sure it will get smaller for them. I want my own house by then. But when she said that, she was looking a bit gaunt and listless. I looked out the window and saw a cemetery. The view outside the house was not very pleasant, and my friend seemed to be very hesitant to move there. My friend laughed and said, "But the rent is cheap." But I couldn't help but be concerned. Disturbing thing was the noise. I thought it was a quiet residential area, but I could hear voices all the time zapping around. It was summer, so I thought that all the neighbors must have their windows open. Still, it was quite noisy, and I asked my friend, "Isn't it kind of loud or noisy?" "Really? It's not particularly noisy. It's hot, though." I felt uncomfortable with my friend's curious answer. I could hear so many voices, and it was not just a few people, but it was as noisy as a festival. I looked in the direction of the voices, and what I found was that grave. I put on a nonchalant face in front of my friend, but inside I was not at peace. The idea that this could not be true came and went. I tried to come up with a convenient interpretation that people might actually be gathering, but it was obvious that this was not the case. It was too early for open, and there would never be that many people. The voices of young men and women, old people, and babies. I heard people of all genders and ages, but I couldn't catch what they were saying. Some sounded like small talk, some sounded like angry. There was also laughter and crying. It was like a flood of voices. I couldn't stand the situation much longer, and I decided to leave early. As I left my friend's house, I heard no more voices. I noticed that my fingers were trembling, and apparently I was more terrified than I thought. For a while after that, I felt restless, as if I would hear that voice again. My friend looked exhausted. I wondered if she was under some kind of influence of that. But what I should say to her, who was happy to rent a house without feeling anything? I wondered if I might embarrass her by telling her this story. I was the only one who heard that voice, so if I told her about it and she didn't agree with that, I worried for days, but I still couldn't leave it alone. About a month later, I called her and told her everything. To my surprise, she said, "I knew it." She had been aware of the changes in herself and her family for some time. She became tired easily and felt depressed and lazy in everything she did. In addition, her small baby was crying all through the night every day, which had been bothering her since the move. She then discussed the matter with her husband, and they agreed to move again. So I was relieved. The next time I brought her a housewarming gift, I was greeted by the smiling face of my friend, who had regained her former cheerfulness. This time it was in a quiet residential area with no cemetery. We might be careful about moving too carelessly because of the cheap price.